When you think of trackside accommodation, you usually think of a giant tower bearing a train where you might be lucky to get a good photo at 10 times zoom. But what about a rebuilt station just 2 feet from an active railway line? Welcome to Stoke Edith Station. Today, this is one of the most unique holiday lets in the entire country. A perfect recreation of a rural station of yesteryear. But the story of how this place came around isn't just about trains, it's about a demanding lady of the manor, decades of total abandonment, and a father's dying wish that his sons still carry out today. We're going to dive into a story that spans over 160 years, from the golden age of steam to a devastating closure to a beautiful family legacy. Let's go back to the beginning. Our story starts all the way back in 1861. The Worcestershire and Hereford/West Midlands Railway Company was expanding, laying track all across the beautiful Herefordshire countryside, but they hit a slight roadblock. The sprawling Stoke Edith estate, owned by Lady Emily Foley. Lady Foley was willing to give the railway company a ribbon of her land to build their tracks, but it came with a catch. Actually, several convenient. The biggest one, they had to build a station specifically for her own use, and it had to be named Stoke Edith Station. The railway, eager to build along this stunning stretch of countryside connecting Ledbury to Hereford, agreed, and Stoke Edith became a vibrant, essential transport hub for the surrounding rural area, and for over a century it was the lifeblood of this community, moving goods, locals, and of course serving the estate. But as the 20th century marched on, the rise of the motor car meant rural stations began to struggle. In 1965, as British Rail did to a lot of places, they officially closed Stoke Edith. The passengers stopped coming, the doors were locked, and the buildings were left to the mercy of the elements. For over 3 decades, there was almost zero activity here. The site fell into absolute ruin. It became a forgotten relic of the steam age, sitting uncomfortably close to the modern trains thundering past. By the late 90s, there was barely anything left in preserved condition. It needed a miracle. Or more accurately, it needed Mike. In 1997, Mike Davies and his wife Beryl brought to the ruins of Stoke Edith the first monumental task, restoring the original station master's house, which is just behind us. It became their family home, the absolute centrepiece to all the family gatherings, as any a unique building should, and the launch pad for a massive project that's been going on for over 20 years. Over the years, they chipped away at this massive site, but their ultimate dream was to build the two holiday lets you see today. First of all is the booking office, a lovely 3 bedroom, and then next door, the waiting room, which is a 2 bedroom, meticulously designed to look exactly like a rural railway station from the golden era, with one main twist. If the railway ever wanted to reopen Stoke Edith in some form, the waiting room just to the side of us is ready to spec to reopen with minimal work. But unfortunately, this story took a heartbreaking turn. Over the years, Mike battled a progressive lung disease, Doctors gave him a timeline, but Mike, being the force of nature he was, fought on for 6 years longer than the best case scenario. Unfortunately, and rather sadly, in August 2019, he passed away before he could see the holiday lets completely finished. But he wasn't the type of person to leave a job half done, right up until his last breath from his hospital bed. He was still handing out instructions to his sons on how he wanted these two buildings to be complete. And looking around today, it is incredibly safe to say they finished it the way he would have wanted. Today, Stoke Edith is a living memorial and a train spotter's absolute paradise. You're staying in a loving recreation of railway history, with the thrill of modern trains right on your footsteps, blasting past at 75 miles per hour, I believe, to an hour at minimum. But the best bit is, his sons aren't finished yet. They are still working away. Next up, they're restoring the original goods shed. They're bringing an old railway carriage back to life, and most incredibly, they are laying around 1 mile of actual railway track on the property to run their 88 DS Ruston locomotive and Rickon railcar. This isn't just a holiday let anymore. It is a full-blown private railway revival, and I trust no one else with this job. Stoke Edith Station could have just been a forgotten victim of the 1965 closures. Instead, thanks to a ribbon of land from Lady Foley and the sheer unstoppable determination of Mike Davies and his family, it is beautifully preserved piece of local railway history that we can actually stay in. If you want to follow their ongoing story, do check out the Stoke Edith Station story page on Facebook. I'll leave links to it down below where you'll see some of the lovely photos of this place. And if you're wanting to stay in the Herefordshire area, I would highly recommend coming here. There is nowhere better. But this, Stoke Edith, thank you for listening.